Hello and welcome to Sitcom Showdown, episode 107. It's Jeff is here. I'm one of your hosts. And hello, Steve. How are you?
Good, Jeff. Hello, listeners. Nice to be back with you for our traditional Christmas episode. Yes, in December. So
2023 for the record.
2023 edition, yes, that's right. So today we're going to be talking about an episode of Community, and it's called Regional Holiday Music. I think the meaning of that will become apparent as we move through. This was episode 10 of season 3, what they're calling a mid-season finale, which I think means it's the final episode that they aired before the show went on hiatus during the 2011-2012 mid-season, so over, essentially. This would have been the last one in December before they recommenced in January or February or whatever they do.
Okay.
Well, it was originally broadcast on December 8th, 2011 on NBC, and it's got an IMDb rating of 8.5.
Holy crap.
Not too shabby.
It's not shabby. It's very good.
Now let's talk about Community a bit. Community is an American sitcom created by Dan Harmon. It ran for 110 episodes over 6 seasons, and it did struggle a bit in the ratings. However, it developed a cult following and received acclaim for its acting, direction, writing and meta humour.
It didn't get massive accolades
it was solid across the board,
hairdressing and lighting.
Yes, that's right. All the important things.
Yeah,
it did
fair
well.
enough, fair enough.
I'm saying here that perhaps as a result of poor ratings, the first 5 seasons aired on NBC, as we just heard, and then they moved on to Yahoo Screen for the final season in 2015. Now, a quick bit of trivia for you, Jeff. Which other sitcoms have we covered that switched networks or channels? Okay,
Like Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
I can help you out. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, yes, well done.
Cool. Yeah,
That's one of them that aired on Fox and then later on NBC. And the other one was Arrested Development, which aired on Fox again, to start with, for 3 seasons, followed by 2 seasons on Netflix.
Right. So Fox kicks all these things off.
Yep.
And they go, we believe in this product. And then at the hint of they'll go, all right. You could be generous and turn that around. And instead of saying that they get rid of shows before they've outlived their welcome.
Before they jump the shark, they boot them.
Well, actually, yeah, when you phrase it like that, it actually sounds like a plus, whereas I was saying that's a negative, and you balance it out with the positive of maybe they go, okay, we've invested 3 seasons in this, and now we're going to keep doing that tradition of creating something new and bringing in a new program and put this one out to pasture. Right. And the other people pounce, and rightly so.
Yeah. Well, if something's reasonably popular and you've got all the things you need to make it,
why not keep going?
Exactly.
Run it into the ground.
Absolutely. Milk it for all it's worth. So, back to Community. This is set at a community college in the fictional Colorado town of Greendale. The series stars an ensemble cast, which, is going to be a pain later when we talk about people, and makes use of meta-humour, as we've already heard, and pop culture references, paying homage to film and television cliches and tropes. And we'll see a little bit of that in the one we're going to be talking about today. It's known for its frequent use of thematic episodes every season, which use cliches and the television tropes as single episode concepts that play with suspension of disbelief while maintaining plot continuity.
Right.
So some of the themes they've done that with are Halloween and Christmas, being a couple of our favourites. But then they've also done things like an entire episode which is about paint, like there's a big paintball fight or something like that. So yes, there's some interesting takes on how to do it, which is definitely a plus for Community.
Oh yeah, not afraid to experiment, which is
absolutely
good.
So let's give an overview of what Community is about. Jeff Winger is disbarred and suspended from his law firm. Is this a common
what name or scenario?
Disbarring of people? I guess I'm thinking of the philosopher guy who ended up having to teach. Well, it was similar to this, wasn't it? He was teaching at a community college. The guy from yes.
Oh, so you mean the one that we covered with that dude? Yeah, that I slated.
He kind of fell. He was a high flyer until he got booted out of his faculty or something like that. Anyway, this dude doesn't go to jail. He's just, well, almost. But, he's suspended from his law firm when it's discovered that he lied about having a bachelor's degree from Columbia. And to earn a legitimate degree, he starts from the beginning enrolling at Greendale Community College and quickly becomes attracted to his classmate, social activist Britta Perry, and pretends to run a study group in order to spend time with her. Right. Then she brings along people. Classmates Abed, and a socially awkward and pop culture obsessed student, who in turn brings other classmates along. Religious single mother Shirley Bennett, naive overachiever Addie Anderson, former high school football star Troy Barnes, and bigoted elderly millionaire Pierce Hawthorne. So that's how the group forms.
Right. So the footballer, is he the Jehovah's Witness chappie?
Yep.
Right. Because I think of footballers as being these 6'4" refrigerator massive dudes, and Donald Glover's not a massive, enormous dude, so he must be the sprinty.
Maybe he's the one that runs the
quarterback with the nimble,
yep,
agility and all the... Right, okay.
Must have been. So despite their differences, the group members become close friends. They're often roped into helping the college's flamboyant dean in his schemes to make the school seem more respectable, as well as having to deal with the antics of their mentally unstable teacher and eventual classmate and friend, Ben Chang. More about him in a bit. So let's talk about the cast, and we'll try and fly through this as it's a long list. It's an ensemble cast.
Yep.
Joel McHale as Jeff Winger, the former lawyer, who is sarcastic, outspoken, and an overconfident Lothario. Now, Joel's done lots of different things, including the maligned American version of the IT Crowd.
Yeah, I've never looked at him in the same way since that. I know we shouldn't judge people and we should give people another shot. But honestly, when I see Joel now, I just have to turn my head away and go, oh, after witnessing the IT Crowd American version. Oh my goodness. Have you seen that, Steve?
Yeah, I think I did.
Oh man.
It was pretty bad. He also was the lead in the CBS sitcom The Great Indoors with Stephen Fry.
Oh really?
I didn't know that Stephen Fry was in it. That was an interesting one. What about, do you know anything else of Joel's work?
Nope,
just that. Okay. Good-o. Gillian Jacobs as Britta, stars as Britta Perry, an anarchist, atheist and activist who travelled around the world after dropping out of high school. Now, Gillian's had quite a few movie roles, but I've said here that I've heard of none of them.
No, okay. We're going to find out, but I'm assuming that's because they're in a genre that you wouldn't normally watch.
Well, there's 2 Netflix series called Love and Transatlantic. So, yeah, maybe it's the themes or something like that I'm not vibing with.
Because if she was in the Marvel movies, you might have actually seen her.
You would definitely know her. Yes, so she's done lots of work, nevertheless. Danny Pudi stars as Abed. Abed struggles to interact with others via conventional means due to his autism, so he often chooses to interpret the group's everyday activities by comparing them to film and TV cliches. He's a pretty funny character. Yvette Nicole Brown stars as Shirley Bennett from seasons 1 to 5 and a guest spot in season 6. She's a divorced mother and vocal Christian going to school to start a brownie business.
Right.
Yeah, got to respect the brownie business.
So I suppose she's there for the business aspect of it rather than the brownies. Because I was thinking, couldn't she go to bakery classes? And I thought, don't be an idiot, Jeffrey.
I think she's got the brownie stuff locked down, and she's...
I feel like an idiot, having said that.
Bringing her other skills up to snuff.
Cool.
Alison Brie, I don't know if you've ever heard of Alison Brie. She stars as Annie Edison, who is the youngest of the group, a compulsive overachiever, relentlessly organised and comparatively innocent. Yeah, so I think she's one of probably the best known members of the cast. There's probably 3 well-known cast members, and she would be one of them. Her breakout role came in Mad Men. She voiced a character in BoJack and Horseman.
Yeah, that's a cartoon, isn't it? Comedy cartoon.
Yep, it's an animated comedy series. And then she was in a comedy drama called Glow, which is another Netflix show. She got a couple of Golden Globe nominations for that one. And then she's been in loads of movies like Scream 4, the Lego Movie, so that would be another voice role. And then, again, not a whole lot that I'm familiar with.
No, same here.
But she's done lots. Yes, Donald Glover is the third of the 3 better-known ones. He stars as Troy Barnes, who was the former high school football player.
Barnesy.
Barnesy. Good one, Jeff. No one else is going to know what that means, but that's great. So Donald is also known by his stage name, which is Childish Gambino. Have you ever heard of this?
Totally, man.
Yeah, why is that?
He did This Is America or whatever, and, there was a whole hoo-ha over that. But I know him through Solo, a Star Wars story.
Yes.
And he was in there, man, as a Lando. And
that's right. So, as soon as I realised he was also Childish Gambino, my mind went to this controversial video for the song that you were talking about, where people were getting shot in the head and stuff. But Donald was hired at the age of 23 as a writer for 30 Rock.
Oh, really?
Did you know that?
Nice one.
Yeah. So I wanted to mention Donald's also done quite a few movies, including Spider-Man movies and Solo. And then second last person we're going to talk about is Ken Jeong. as Ben Chang, an unstable Spanish teacher at Greendale. Well, he starts out as a unstable Spanish teacher, but as the show continues, he moves into different things. And
does he play the security dude who comes in with the music people?
Yes, that's right.
So then he is doing all sorts at the college.
Yes, that's right. So in season 3, he's a security guard. And then he does teaching, and he's a student in different bits and pieces and stuff. So yeah, it's obviously he was well received, so they just found ways to keep bringing him back. Anyway, he was a former doctor, this guy, and he came to prominence through the Hangover movies.
Right.
Yep. And then moved on to be Chang in Community. And then he was in a show for ABC called Dr. Ken. This is a sitcom. And he wrote it, created it, and produced it. So it was all about him. But he also had Dave Foley in that show. And that's why I've actually watched a few episodes of that one.
Yeah.
Because Dave Foley plays his evil boss.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
How often would Dave get to play evil?
Exactly. He's not the first person that comes to mind when you think of evil. So very good. And then we've got, of course, Chevy Chase as Pierce Hawthorne. Living legend? ? Well, that was good. Yeah, that was commitment.
Well, his roles are legendary. His performances are legendary, but I think him as a human has put a few noses out of joint.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or because just being difficult to work with.
Okay.
Extremely memorable dude. I mean, he's been eclipsed by Bill Murray, I imagine, but yeah.
Well, he started out with Saturday Night Live. In fact, he was in the first season of SNL. But yeah, so many people have come out of that show, haven't they? So he obviously had lots of movies. He was in Caddyshack, the National Lampoon movies, Fletch, Spies Like Us, Three Amigos, Funny Farm. The list goes on. And he even hosted the Academy Awards a couple of times and had a late night talk show.
Ooh.
But so then things died down, and Community was a resurgence in his career, coming back for that. Any other comments on Chevy?
Oh, no, because I know him as a film dude, so
yep.
I don't associate him with sitcoms and stuff.
Fair enough. All right, well, we're going to take a break here, and we'll come back and discuss regional holiday music.
Not have done this without your recruiting skills, Abed.
I was happy to do it. For a while there, I thought we were going to end the semester on a really dark note. I'm glad we're singing and dancing together instead. This has been a good time.
And it's going to continue to be a good time. If we win regionals, then it's straight on to sectionals. And then a week later is semis, then semi-regionals, then regional semis, then national lower zone semis!
Oh. But I kind of thought this was, just for Christmas?
No. This is forever. This is what we do now. This is who we are.
Yeah, so this particular episode is a holiday-themed parody of Glee, in which Abed tries to persuade each member of the study group, in turn, to join the Glee Club so that they can qualify for the regionals. And there's a Christmas pageant coming up, which, if there's no Glee Club, the whole pageant falls over.
Oh. So they're the main draw.
Yes. So I thought this might be your cue to talk about this being an atypical episode, because it's not, being the themed, and most of the action and everything takes place in the form of songs.
Yeah, totally. It's in my notes. And the thing about atypical episodes is they either work really, really well for you and they're so memorable and fans of the show just love them to bits and hence they get really high ratings, or it can backfire spectacularly and people go, ah.
So perhaps we'll just put a caveat on this before we get into the synopsis that it is...
You wouldn't judge Community
It's
based
a regular
on this.
feature of Community to do this, but it's not the average episode. It's not the typical episode.
Sounds fair.
Perhaps that's a good way of doing it. Okay, so we open in the cafeteria and the whole crew is there discussing their plans for Christmas. And there's an important quote that I want to get out on the table here because we are going to come back to this. So Abed says, "I was looking forward to hanging out with you guys this Christmas. This semester has been so long and dark and angry. I was thinking we could have some light-hearted fun as a family." And Jeff says, I think what we've learned, Abed, is that attempts to make the holidays brighter tend to give them a certain darkness. That's kind of almost a theme for the episode, as we will see, listeners. We're interrupted then by the Glee Club coming in with their rendition of Deck the Halls. It's quite a boppy, jivey number, wouldn't you say? Anyway, we discover our characters in response to this. They despise the Glee Club. They filled in for them one year, and this was established in a previous episode in Season 2 called Paradigms of Human Memory. And also it becomes apparent that they've got an intimate knowledge of the Christmas a cappella set, because Annie, as the Glee Club is doing their number, she says, cue hip-hop routine in T-minus 5 seconds. Yeah. And then, right on cue. It happens, so they know it all inside and out.
They know their shtick.
They do. Jeff, however, is unusually relaxed given the circumstances. But just then, Chang, in his role as the campus security chief, comes in and he slaps an ASCAP cease and desist notice on the Glee Club. Now, what's your take on what this is?
Yes, okay, so public-facing entities have to pay royalties if they want to play music. And this is great for musos because it helps them make a living. And so obviously the Glee Club are doing a public performance of copyrighted material. They're not playing it on the stereo, but they're singing it. So I don't know about, I'm a bit hazy on the...
I wouldn't have thought Deck the Halls would still be in copyright, but
good
what
call.
Do you know?
I like it. No, but they're whacking in hip-hop references and all that sort of stuff, man.
True.
So they're little Easter eggs. Might be.
Or maybe having Childish Gambino in the cast there, hot on protecting artists' rights and things like that. Who knows? Anyway, it's almost like an ex-lawyer might have arranged this to happen, hey?
It's pure genius. I've got it in my notes that it's pure genius, Steve.
And I like one of the... Jeff actually says, the Glee Club just became the History Club. Yeah. Or just became History Club.
It's a great line.
That was a really good one.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's elation at this turn of events until the Dean and Corey Radisson, the Glee Club instructor, ask the group to fill in for them again this year.
So obviously Jeff didn't think this through, because he should have realised that...
Well, maybe he did.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, that's just my...
Don't make us think,
theory.
Steve. You're supposed to be telling us what to think.
Maybe he really wanted to do the Glee Club thing.
Now, you didn't mention the Dean in the intro, did you?
No, what do you want to say about him?
Jim somebody? Did I write it down, Steve-o?
The actor?
Anyway, I know him. I'm very familiar with his work from Reno 911. So I've watched every season of Reno 911 multiple times.
Is he one of the police officers?
No, he's not, but he's one of the people that they constantly have to arrest for doing perverted things. So he's usually, running around in the nude and getting arrested in disreputable establishments. And all
he's
this
very
sort of
much
stuff.
like that in this show. Well, he's a bit like that in this show as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, likes to dress up in the odd costume.
He's got no shame, and there's nothing better than an actor with no shame. People like your Will Ferrells and people who will try anything. So if you, as a writer, can bring something to them and say, we want you to have a go at this.
Ham it up.
Because they haven't got an embarrassment gene. They just do these amazing things, and you go, that's so cool. Yeah.
Very good. Thanks for mentioning him. I should have included him in the list to start with.
Well, is he in every episode, or would he sort of only appear once every couple?
I don't know about every episode, but very, very often.
Okay.
Yeah, so the reason that this is such an issue is that the school will miss the regionals.
Not the regionals.
What are the regionals?
Anyway, I love how they never answer that question.
Yeah, it's just a hanging question. Anyway, Dean and Mr. Rad, that's the nickname for Corey Radisson, are immediately turned down. And we've now got a clip of our heroes walking away from that conversation.
I feel like we let Mr. Rad down.
No, he let himself down when he left the house this morning wearing a sweater vest.
I guess we did have fun last time.
Did we? I can hardly remember. It's all a weird, happy musical fog.
Yeah, it was almost like being on ecstasy, only instead of having pointless conversations and dancing like idiots, it was exactly like being on ecstasy.
That's what worries me about this guy. He is equal parts Hanson and Manson. Nobody let him corner you until he is out of recruitment mode, or next thing you know, we'll all be caring about Christmas pageants and regionals.
Right. Deal. Agreed.
Gotcha.
Awesome. Yes, I love that line about Mr. Rad being equal parts Hanson and Manson.
Yeah.
Being a reference to Charles Manson and Hanson, were they brothers or something like that? Yeah.
They're still rocking, so I believe.
Would you call them a boy band?
No, because they actually played instruments. you know, they were musicians, damn it, rather than
they had actual talent.
Performers.
Yeah. Oh, good on them. Respect to Hanson. And
next thing you'll be trash talking Mark Wahlberg. And
no. I've got
people like
maximum respect for him.
Yeah, oh, good.
Yeah.
No one else
His work
has,
in the Transformers movies is top shelf. Anyway, as the group walks off, Abed hears the tinkling of a piano in the distance.
Someone's having a tinkle.
Someone's having a tinkle, yes, exactly. Cue the first in a series of events which are performed as songs, during which the members of the group are lured into the Glee Club one by one. So this first song is called Glee, and Mr. Rad manages to convince Abed to join the club by tapping into his desire to spend Christmas with the group, which we've already talked about in that quote from the opening scene.
And we'll see over the course of the whole episode that it's all extremely cleverly done by exploiting, you know, their personalities and stuff.
Their egos and weaknesses. And yes, but Abed is the cornerstone. He's the foundation upon which this
is built.
This is built, yes.
And can I go on another tangent or two here, Steve, which I know might throw you off your game.
No.
But I wonder when they were writing the order of how this would happen and then choosing Abed as the linchpin of the thing.
Yep.
And so Britta's at the end. So they go, okay, we've got this brilliant idea. Now, who in the cast is a really good singer? Because Abed is first, and then as we're going to hear, you know, Childish Gambino is second. And so they have to perform in a whole bunch of songs throughout the episode.
Yep.
And is that because they go, okay, we're going to play to our strengths, and we know that these guys are going to do a really good job with the dancing and singing, so we'll structure the episode to put them first. And hence, you don't put Chevy Chase first and have him go 5 or 6 songs because it's going to be hot garbage. So you know what I mean?
I think there could be some strategy to that. What's your take on their natural singing ability? Who would you rank at the top?
I'd put our religious friend first.
Yes,
Her voice is sensational.
I was saying Yvette is probably close to the top. Yep. So I don't know if that shuts down our theory because she comes in halfway through the order of the songs, I think, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Yeah,
I do see the logic of what you're saying there.
Oh, cool.
Goodo. Then we move on to the second song, because Abed's now been brought into the fray. It's called Christmas Infiltration. So Troy is the next to join when Abed suggests that he infiltrate the Glee Club for the Jehovah's Witnesses. Troy then raps about going undercover to make it seem like he accepts Christmas. Now, I do have the one of the verses here, which I can rap to the audience, or we can just insert a clip. It's totally up to you. I'm just not sure about the copyright.
Going deep, cover past enemy lines, making everybody think I'm on the Christmas side. Rocking warm sweaters, hanging big ass lights. If the fat man can see me, always gotta look right. I watch all the TV specials that I never could. I'll even cry during the sad ones like James Bond would. And when the big night comes, it's time to set the bait. Cold milk, hot cookies, decorative plates. And he'll come down the chimney and they will be just him and me, but he won't know we're enemies cause I play sincere. Bring a trap like that, hug on tight, get on his lap and tell him he can come back every year. Cause I am Jehovah's most secret witness, so I might have to dedicate my life to Christmas and act just like I love it till the day I die.
Got a sore of Christmas on the spectrum, none of your business. Thoughts too fast to comprehend, just wanna do right by my friends. If years were seasons, this December would be the December of our December. More blueprints than Howard Hughes, but if there are blueprints, how do we choose? We have to be happy to get to the end. We have to save Christmas to save our friends. We have to save Christmas to save our friends. We have to save Christmas to save our friends.
Hey guys. Rapping?
Yep.
I just thought this was absolutely hilarious, this. And the clip that goes with it, because the whole thing is they go off, unlike some of the other songs where you just see them performing it to the other person that they're trying to lure in, these guys actually go off on their own imaginary thing into a song clip, like a music video of them performing the song.
And it's extremely well done.
Yes, well, I was just musing to Jeff as to whether the writers of the episode actually wrote every verse of these songs, or whether, like these guys,
they handed it over to the performers.
Yes,
it's a good question. And let's just rewind a little bit, Steve, because we did miss something. I'm sorry to keep doing this to you, but what I thought, when Mr. Rad is first convincing the first chip off the block,
Abed,
no, first car off the production line, Abed. Yes, when Mr. Rad is convincing Abed, and he's singing his song, there's just a line that was so good, and he's saying that Glee is when your brain finally lets your heart get in its pants.
Hang on, let me think about that for a second.
Yeah, when your brain finally lets your heart get in its pants. So your brain is telling you that singing stupid songs and poncing around the place like a dickhead is idiotic.
Yeah.
But your heart wants to express itself and do all these things. And when your brain finally lets your heart get into your pants, then that's in Glee when your brain and your heart connect.
Yeah.
And it all comes spilling out and you dance around and sing and it's lovely. So I just thought that's a genius line. And every song, like you were saying before, each song has at least one really, really good line. If not multiple.
Oh, I think this one's got crackers all the way through it. It's absolutely hilarious, and we've already said that they're imagining themselves in a Christmas-inspired rap video where they've got, female dancers behind them and all this sort of stuff. It's really good. But it ends abruptly with Annie walking in on the guys and completely breaking the illusion that they're living in. And, of course, she realises that they've been infected, and we then move on to the next day. I guess it's the start of class or something like that, and she's warning the others, they've been infected, they're going to be coming for us. Despite that, despite that warning, Pierce is the next to fall prey to a song called Baby Boomer Santa. Troy and Abed exploit Pierce's baby boomer narcissism using mixed musical styles associated with each of the decades Pierce has lived through, and they do it in order. And they actually say that they're pandering to his demographic's well-documented historical vanity.
Yeah.
And they're saying, your generation invented music, things like that. Of course, he's just lapping it up.
Oh, yeah. I was lapping it up, and I'm not even a boomer.
Yeah.
Like, they're throwing out mentions of the Gremlins, and they're doing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it's really good. Soon after, Annie succumbs to the madness. This happens off-screen, this one.
Oh, before we do that, Steve.
Yes, okay.
Another thing I really liked about that song where they get Chevy Chase on board, Abed and Childish Gambino are saying, all right, guys, we're going to do this. All of us as a group, we're going to be the new Glee Club. And then Joel McHale's saying,
I'm out.
No way, blah, blah, blah. And then so they go, good point. Do you want to sing about it?
Merry Christmas, y'all. Sorry about the rearrangement. We need the space to rehearse for the pageant.
But we're not doing the pageant.
Look, guys, I hear your negativity, but also, can I counter with this? Who hates Glee? Listen to how that sounds. Glee literally means Glee.
Oh, stop it. Not liking Glee Club doesn't make us bullies, and implying that is reverse bullying.
Good point. Sing about it?
No!
But that was just a bloody funny line, man.
So it is the thinking that soon as if they can get someone to sing, that's it. Yeah,
you've
got them. If
they've
they're
infected.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can see it.
But like they just make a good argument, and then him being the lawyer makes a good argument right back, and he goes, "Good point. Do you want to sing about it?" And they go, "Oh, I nearly trapped him."
Yeah, almost got him. Anyway, Annie is the next one to succumb to the madness, which I think happens off screen. Anyway, the next thing you know, she's leading Jeff away from the group. And as they go into this room, she disappears behind a screen. And it looks like there's costumes of all sorts in this room. So I don't know if this is a room where they have drama productions or something like that. But anyway, she comes out and she's donning an outfit of a sexy Santa's helper.
Yep.
And then she starts singing.
And it's not the sexiest outfit in this episode.
What, are you rating the tree outfit as the...
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not as subtle.
This is like a cheeky, mischievous kind of sexiness, whereas the other one's just... Right. It's just because it's
so this
skin
Christmas
tight or
outfit that Annie's wearing is wholesome sexy.
Whereas, this is a conversation we haven't ever gone into before. Tell me what the difference is between...
I'm making this up as I go along. But yeah, so I think what Annie's doing here is wholesome sexy.
Wholesome sexy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, at the end, as we're going to find out when Britta's dressed as a tree, that just leaves nothing to the imagination whatsoever sexy.
Okay.
Yeah. How's that?
Which one do you prefer?
Well, I prefer the tree.
I trapped him. Teach Me How to Understand Christmas is the song that she's singing. So she's pretending to be a bit of a dunce about Christmas and wants Jeff to teach her all about it. And like a car wreck, he's both repulsed by the thought of joining the Glee Club, but he can't tear his eyes away from this performance that Annie's putting on, and her pleas to help her understand. So basically he's done, and obviously she's just, what would you say, appealing to his base desires, right. And that sort
because
of stuff.
He, obviously he can't be manipulated mentally being a lawyer. He knows all the tricks. So she's got to go beneath that to the trouser area
or whatever. Yeah, see, they know how to hook you in. And talking about that, the next song is Happy Birthday, Jesus. So this is where they get Shirley. Pierce invites a children's choir to sing to Shirley about how the public school system has thrown out the meaning of Christmas, i.e. the birth of Jesus, during its celebrations. and unable to resist her religious fervour, she springs into song proclaiming, "Happy birthday, Jesus."
Yeah. Because the kids are singing, don't know whose name should be on the cake. And she knows whose name should be on the cake, and she can't help it, man, and they're sucking her in again.
Yep. They know all the angles to get you. And then, so lastly, we're now talking about Britta. She's the only non-Glee Club member left. And she seeks out Jeff, only to find that Annie successfully turned him. And then he, in turn, manages to sway Britta.
Which is, again, done without song? We just cut ahead?
I believe so. We are going to discover in the next scene why Britta was the last one recruited. Now, so this kind of supports I think this solidly supports your theory that they were recruited in order of talent because, well, she's abysmal.
Before we move on to that, Steve, I just want to point out for the dear listener, if they haven't seen this episode, and it seems like we're just like sprinting through this from song to song to song, that is one of the great things about this episode, is literally you're going to get 20 seconds of scene between songs. And they've got a lot to fit in this episode, and they hammer through it. And that's why it's just like bang, 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 because that's the nature of the episode.
Yes,
so I don't want people to think we're skimping on them, because we're not.
Yes, it's very nice. There's little dialogue outside of the song, whereas normally this would be a much longer exercise. It's quite brief here. So the next scene is at the Christmas pageant. Now, this is not what we mean in Australia by Christmas pageant, is it? I'd say this is more of a performance in front of a seated audience. And I do like the backdrop that they've got on the stage here, which is a snow globe, and then the Glee Club members that are on the stage are dressed like a soldier, and I'm not sure what the ladies are, but they're the kind of figures you would see set inside of a snow globe. So that's really cool. Jeff's just looking it up now. It is very good. Anyhow, before the performance starts, and it's going to be a song called Planet Christmas, which is a bit of a strange title. I'm not going to lie. Before the performance of the song, the spell that's been cast over the whole lot of them is broken when Corey, Mr. Rad, tells Abed how this is amazing and it's going to lead to their participation in a whole calendar load of events and competitions over the next 12 months. So Abed's going, maybe I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life, Mr. Rad. So he takes action, telling Britta that she's no longer going to be playing the part of the mute but revealingly sexy Christmas tree, but instead take his place as the Mouse King, who has the final solo in the Planet Christmas song. Of course, as we discover, she can't sing and the whole performance is ruined. She is genuinely terrible.
She is genuinely terrible. We're talking about the character, not the actress, who probably can sing for all we know.
Yep, she could just be putting it on.
Yes.
So we're going to have a little clip here.
Stop. What are you doing? Get off the stage.
I'm singing my heart song.
Get off the stage and never sing again. You are the worst.
Hey! You do not get to call Britta the worst.
I just love the bit where Britta says, I'm singing my heart song.
And the look on her face is so, genuine and pure.
She's been waiting all her life to sing her heart song on stage. Anyway, Mr. Rad, he's completely irate and he spills that he killed the previous Glee Club members in the bus accident. He must have cut the brake line or something. So he confesses to that, and then he shouts, Kings of Leon.
Look, everybody. Points behind them.
Kings of Leon.
Kings of Leon. Who must have been massive at the time.
Yes. And there's a story to that, which I'm about to give you.
Brilliant.
Anyway, that distracts people when he manages to escape. Yes, so the reference to the Kings of Leon is not a mistake or anything like that. It's quite deliberate. So Glee's creator, Ryan Murphy, criticised musicians who don't want their music to be on Glee, the show. And when Mr. Rad reveals that he killed previous Glee Club members, he shouts, look, Kings of Leon, to distract the audience before escaping, as we know. Kings of Leon had previously clashed with Murphy, creator of Glee, over permission to use their songs on Glee. So it's, yes. Yeah. What would you call that? A little nod or cheeky?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an in-joke
cheeky
for
wink
the industry, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
And why not? There's nothing better than a feud, So if you had Glee and Community, which were both hella popular, feuding with each other, that's just...
all publicity is good
all publicity. Is good publicity. Thanks, Midge.
Yes. So Mr. Rad leaves. He makes his escape, and Abed says, maybe Jeff's right. Maybe forcing things to be bright just makes the darkness underneath even darker. This was all my fault, insisting we do the pageant. Sorry. Merry Christmas. I guess I'll just see you guys after the holidays. It's a bit sad, isn't it?
And off he goes without saying anything else.
Yeah.
And
So his plan was successful, prevent them from being in the Glee Club, but it means that he won't get to see his friends over the break, so that's a bit sad. But then we've got our final scene, and it's Abed at home in his gym jams eating pot noodles with a pair of knitting needles. Did you like that?
I didn't know they were knitting needles. I just thought they were really hip and cool, oversized chopsticks. So,
well, I'm guessing they're knitting needles. They look very knitting
it
needlish.
makes total sense.
And they're watching a British show called Inspector Spacetime, which showcases the adventures of the inspector and his partner, Constable Reggie. And they're standing in front of a phone box. So, Jeff, what's going on here?
It's clearly a Doctor Who reference. I guess lots of Americans who watched PBS enjoyed the odd bit of Doctor Who and stuff like that. But what I like is when he's describing at the very beginning of the show, he brings this disc in and he goes, all right, guys, I know what we're going to watch, and it's going to be this massive 2.5 hour Inspector Spacetime that's rated so unbelievably poorly that the writer lost his knighthood for it. And I figured this, and I'm sure you'd argue that's the McCoy era Doctor Who or something like that.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, so this Inspector Spacetime it's not just the only reference to that imaginary show in Community. It's quite funny. Anyway.
I would like to think, dude,
yes,
that the actor who plays Inspector Spacetime, who presumably appears in a bunch of these Community episodes, might, get invited to the odd Doctor Who convention or something like that.
Yeah. Or maybe he could be a bi-generation of the next Doctor or something like that. Who knows what?
Why not?
Anything could happen these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, he is commenting on how rubbish this Christmas episode is, but he's interrupted by singing at the front door, and we can infer that the others have made some changes to the plans that they'd been discussing at the start of the episode, and they found a way to get together and come around to visit Abed, which is what his Christmas wish was, that they would all see each other over the break. And they enter singing the first Noel, and they sit down to watch the infamous Inspector Spacetime Christmas special with him. The Inspector celebrates Time Day.
Right.
And as per tradition, gives Reggie a hologram as a gift for the orbital cycle.
Oh, okay.
So it's a Christmas-themed Inspector Spacetime.
Right.
Yes. The end.
Yeah.
Well,
thoughts? There we have it. Thoughts? I've got lots. Just it just depends. Because I've got thoughts on Community because this has been my first time watching it.
Yep.
And then I've got thoughts on the episode and all that sort of stuff. So where would you like me to start?
Well, let's start with the episode. How about that?
All right, cool. So my judgment is that, look, unless I'm paying to go to a concert and I've got a seat, I don't want to hear people in real life singing. I can't stand musical episodes, and it's a sort of...
Really?
Like, I wasn't going to watch this more than once, although I did. I forced myself to watch it several times, Dave.
No Dr. Horrible sing-along blog for you?
No, none of that.
None of that?
If I'd been a Buffy fan, I would have skipped the musical episode and all that. And, I would never watch Glee. So this isn't made for me. However, but having said all that...
He hates Glee.
Yeah.
So the whole point of it's to take the mickey out of it. So.
And that's why this is so good. And you've just put your finger on it exactly. So you can do both. You can have your cake and eat it too by saying, right, I'm going to take the mickey out of Glee and completely expose it for how ridiculous it is, which they do in the very first song, and they're saying everything's better when the camera is spinning, and they're doing all that sort of stuff. And I enjoyed what they were saying. I just don't like the delivery mechanism of song and dance. But having said that, dude, absolutely, it's so competently done. The writing is bang on. The performances are really good. It's extremely well done. It's just not my sort of scene.
Yep.
So coming in new to it, so there's two things they did which are really good. In the opening scene, when they're all talking about what they're doing for Christmas, and that reveals who each character is. Now, I mean, long-time viewers are going to know exactly who these people are and blah, blah, blah. But to someone who's new, to me, that was really useful. And then within each person's song and the way they had to be suckered into doing it.
That reinforces
who they are.
Yeah, the character.
And like you said about the atypical episode thing, again, it's this whole bit about having your cake and eating it too, is that fans of this show who love the characters get to see the characters be so much like that character because of their defense mechanisms against being sucked into the Glee Club. But then they get to see them go against type and do all that. So you get all of that. And it's just so well written, I thought. I admired all that from a technical perspective. I thought it had twists as well that I wasn't expecting.
Oh, give me an example.
Oh, like I was expecting it to go all schmaltzy, but it totally didn't. And they turned it around, and Mr. Rad killed that bus full of people. You know what I mean?
Well, that's one of my comments is they've balanced the upbeat song side of things by having all these dark elements mixed in. They're manipulating their friends throughout the whole thing.
That's pretty dark.
There's the fate of the previous Glee Club members. They're dobbing the current members in, like Jeff drops a dime on them or whatever, dobbing them in. And then that whole forcing joy brings darkness idea. So it's a good mix of the upbeat and the downbeat stuff, I think.
Yeah. And lastly, the other thing I mentioned before that I appreciate is the pace. So they just went straight through it. I think they went like 5 minutes without a song if you don't include the first Glee Club, which means they've only got 15 minutes left to cram in so much plot and song and all that, and they do it, and there's never a dull moment.
That's right, there's so little dialogue, but the plot moves along just perfectly, and that's carried almost entirely by the songs and the lyrics.
Although it's not for me, I can see that Community, if you're a fan of Community and a fan of Glee, you would really like this episode.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't reluctant praise, it's just a reluctant watching, but it deserves its praise.
Yes, I agree.
Unless you're going to trash it.
No. I agree with everything you've said. And I always give an extra 0.5 because they actually mention the birth of the baby Jesus. So.
Yes, and sort of make that point. Yeah.
Yep.
And another 0.5 for Inspector Spacetime.
Yes, I really like that as well. That was fun. So just zooming out a bit, any other thoughts about Community as a whole? Were you tempted to come back and watch a bit more sometime?
Not really.
What about the paintball episode, man?
Oh, well,
that
maybe.
Cool.
It didn't have the Brooklyn Nine-Nine effect where when you introduced me with that, I said, no, I hate Jake Peralta. I'm never watching this again. This is crap. And then it ended up becoming a Brooklyn Nine-Nine addict. So then I went off on one of my little rants in my notes here about the nature of modern sitcoms and quirkiness and all this sort of stuff. I watched this fantastic video on YouTube about how it's a fine line. So you've got Brooklyn Nine-Nine that I think does it right. So each character is a whole rounded character and they might have a quirk or an unusual thing. But some shows who haven't got very skilled writers will write shows that all their character is a quirk and they're pretty empty apart from that. Now, I don't think Community's like that.
Yep.
I think they just don't do it as good as Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And then I heard about this show.
Just on the subject of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, did you hear that Andre died the other day?
Oh, yes, that was awful. Only 61. That's way too young to go, and it's real sad.
Yep. Sorry, carry on.
No, that's right. Yeah. So we'll raise a glass after this to Captain Holt.
Yep.
Right, yeah, so basically I heard about this show, which I haven't watched, called Blockbuster, that was about the last video store.
Okay.
And it's got Melissa Fumero from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and apparently that falls victim to the whole thing of they've got these quirky characters, but there's literally nothing else. And that's why the show didn't do particularly well. I was thinking Community would be like that, and they've gone, okay, we need to create some characters. What are we going to do? And then you look at them, and it is like a ticker box thing, and you just think, oh, this is going to be garbage. But they're not too bad, you know? Sorry to all the Community fans. And I might remain convinced one day.
Yeah, look, maybe I'll bring back another episode sometime to try and up your approval rating.
It can't hurt, because as you said, it's an atypical episode.
Yep. All right, well, thanks for joining me, Jeff, as we went through that. We're not rating this one for the Hall of Fame or anything like that. It's just a
special Christmas one?
Straightforward Christmas chat, really. Quite enjoyed it.
Oh, good. All right, cool. And are you going to tell us what's coming up next month, Steve-O?
Well, I don't know. I had an idea of something to do, but
yeah,
you said it might be a bit too controversial at the moment, so we'll have to see.
We'll see how we go. Okay.
Yes. Anyway, we plan to be back in January, listeners, so hopefully we'll be talking to you soon. See ya.
Right, cheers. Bye. Join us next time on Sitcom Showdown when we'll be putting another 5-star episode under the microscope. And in the meantime, you can contact us with feedback on Facebook, Twitter @Sitcom Showdown, or by email sitcomshowdown@gmail.com.